Are you ready?
Is that ready?
Yeah, it should be loading. It'll pop up soon.
It'll pop up. Spin.
Here we go, huh?
Okay, hold on.
Are we ready? Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Jerry Baird, Chairman of the Board for Main Street Credit Union. I'd like to personally thank you for joining us for our 2021 online annual meeting today. And I'd also like to thank you for your continued support of Main Street this past year. Normally, I would be sharing highlights from 2020 during my report, but I've decided to let our CEO handle that instead. I want to take a few minutes to share how our credit union staff has worked diligently to keep members' financial lives as normal as possible during a year that tested us all. I'm proud of how our credit union staff responded quickly and professionally to the demands of COVID-19. Management created new ways to provide excellent member service in an uncertain world. Staff members were helped embrace electronic services, the online banking, the mobile check deposit, and automated payments. They granted loan extensions and deferments to members who had lost their jobs, which helped ensure their families remained secure. For sure, 2020 was a year that tested us all. On behalf of the board and committees, thank you, staff, for continuing to work daily to help members during these uncertain times. And thank you to our members for putting your trust in our financial cooperative. Our hope is to be back in person with you next year at the annual meeting. But in the meantime, let's share some highlights from 2020 and provide a few previews of what 2021 will bring, including our new Twin Creeks branch in the Northland. More on that in just a few minutes. Before we get things started, I need to declare a quorum, appoint a recording secretary, Suzanne Perryman. Now let's look at the 2020 annual meeting minutes. All attendees were emailed a copy of the minutes of Main Street Credit Union's last annual meeting held on September 16, 2020 as part of our registration confirmation. I hope everyone has had a chance to review them. And at this time, I need a motion to approve these minutes. Thank you, Bill Frick. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Gary. Gary Ulmer seconded the motion. For those of you on Zoom, look for the gray chat button at the bottom of your screen. This is our voting button. Click the chat button and type yes to approve the minutes or no to reject the minutes, then hit enter to cast your vote. For those in the room, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed, nay. I'm being told that the ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Before we continue into the rest of the meeting, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the board of directors. Some are present here today and some are on Zoom like many of you. Your board consists of Paul Alvarado, Vice Chairman, Gary Ulmer, Treasurer. Thank you, Gary. Bill Frick, Secretary. Thank you, Bill. Kevin Spreitzer, Director. Paula Hill, Director. And Bill Roush, Director. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Gary Ulmer, our Treasurer, and he will give you his report at this time.
Good afternoon. Once again, it is my pleasure to address our membership as Main Street's treasurer. Today I'm using two statements and four graphs that will compare 2020 side by side with at least one other year. Notice the financial statements math creates a number about halfway down called total assets, and an equal number at the bottom labeled total liabilities and members' equity. These two numbers being equal makes the statement sometimes called a balance sheet. In reality, this statement can be pages long, as the line items that you are looking at are broken out into many subcategories. Main Street pays a great deal of attention to total assets. It is a barometer of growth of Main Street, and as you will see on a bar graph later, that growth has been a constant for a number of years. 2020 was exceptionally so. As nearly $100 million was added to our total assets. Is that exceptional? Yes. Some of it was the stimulus money fed into the economy by the federal government, deposited by our recipient members, and will one day yet will be distributed into our economy. Notice one of our largest asset line items is investments. And this is where a large portion of that money is parked, waiting to be lent out and then added to the very largest of assets, loans to members. Where members like you are buying homes, cars, businesses, and taking vacations. As you can see that this asset, though the largest, has declined since 2019. Prior to the pandemic, it was one of Main Street's most booming features. So as our economy relaxes somewhat and COVID-19 is not as in control of our lives and buying habits, lending should pick up, improving Main Street's incomes. This brings us to the income and expense report. And again, this report is normally pages long. For your convenience, income and expenses have been grouped into large categories for placing on one page. Either way, the income and expense report simply subtracts expenses from income to extract net income. Though we are a nonprofit, retained net income allows Main Street to operate. It is, as our economy normalizes, income should improve. I have provided four graphs I would like to show you. The first graph is a bar graph showing the constant asset growth we have experienced over the past 4 years. During that time, you can see that we have had nearly $200 million of asset growth, which is huge compared to similar times in the past. Our next graph is a pie graph showing what portions each asset type represents of total assets. Assets are things that we have ownership in. So you can see that loans that our members have taken with Main Street is by far our largest category. And in spite of a reduction since 2019, investments are next, since in spite of the reduction in 2019, investments are next having actually increased since 2019 because of the slowing of lending. The next graph shows what various savings account types are to total savings. Liquidity has become more of a driving force in savings decisions than interest. At this point, there isn't a lot to be made with interest, regardless of the account type. But proper laddering and having money available to take advantage of interest growth when time comes is important to you and me. The loan distribution pie graph shows gains in first mortgages. A great deal of that has been refinancing of homes as homeowners have taken advantage of lower interest rates. Every other category of loans have remained about the same. Likely some changes will be to these various categories as the economy resumes normal behavior. I want to thank everyone for giving me this moment to share with you Main Street's financials. No real surprises in an economy that has been unpredictable as this one. However, Main Street is in a wonderful position as our economy emerges with money to be lent to the pin-up consumerism that is likely waiting to happen.
Thank you, Gary. Very good report. Now, I think the next thing we need is a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Bill Roush. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. I need okay, all right, now, please go to, for those of you that are on Zoom, please go to your chat button and all in favor type yay, or those opposed nay. Okay, for those of you in the room, those of you that are in favor of adopting this, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And I'm told that the ayes have it. We accept the treasurer's report. Now I'd like to introduce Bill Roush, your chairman of the supervisory committee, for the supervisory committee report.
Thank you. My name is Bill Roush, and I am the chairman of the supervisory committee. Other members of the supervisory committee are Wanda Vaughn and Diane McNary. The supervisory committee has contracted with the CPA firm of J. Tinbrink and Associates to conduct quarterly reviews of internal control and other agreed upon procedures. In addition, J. Tinbrink and Associates conducted an opinion audit of the financials of the credit union for the period ending December 31st, 2020. Quarterly findings are reported to the supervisory committee after each review. The committee has reviewed the auditor's reports with credit union personnel and are pleased with the results. The opinion audit for December 31st, 2020 resulted in J. Tinbrink and Associates declaring that the financial statements were found to be in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles for the United States. Complete reports are available at the credit union's main office for any member's review. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the report of the supervisory committee.
Okay, I think it is now time to vote on that. And excuse me, I need a motion to approve the supervisory committee report. Thank you, Bill Frick. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Oh, thank you, Gary. All right. Now we need to have the Zoom attendees go to the chat button and type in all in favor, say yes, or all opposed, nay. For those in the room, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, it sounds as if we're good and the ayes have it. We accept the report of the supervisory committee. Now let's move on to the president's report. At this time, I would like to introduce John Beverland, your president and CEO, for his report. John?
Well, thank you, Jerry. Good afternoon. As always, it is a pleasure to address you on the progress your credit union has made this past year. Seems like we just had an annual meeting since last year's meeting was delayed until September 2020 because of the pandemic. And we're still experiencing the effects of the pandemic. We're still wearing masks, we're still social distancing, all to stay healthy so that we can continue to provide you with the level of service you expect. We do appreciate your patience and your dedication to the credit union. We have all had to adapt this past year, with lobbies closing for almost 4 months because of orders to limit exposure. We had to adapt. We adapted by doing more for you over the phone, or via email, or virtually. How many of us had ever heard of Zoom, let alone participated in a Zoom call? But you had to adapt also, and we were here to help. If you were using cash, you found yourself using an ATM. You may have even deposited your check through an ATM. More of you switched to utilizing mobile and online access. Remote deposits via smartphones increased 27%. Some of you used a drive-through teller for the first time. Even more and more, every day, more and more of you are utilizing our appointment concierge. This allows you to make an appointment with a member service representative so you spend less time in a lobby. We helped by waiving more than 9,000 fees. We granted over 2,200 monthly skip-a-pays. With face-to-face marketing events on hold, we committed to continue our community involvement by creating a COVID-19 Emergency Relief Fund, giving funds to local school districts and 2 area hospitals to help their employees that may be facing hardships due to the pandemic. Some of the stories about those helped were heartwarming. One was about an hourly employee from one of the school districts who had lost her summer job and was living in her car with her school-aged daughter, waiting for her first district paycheck. Utilizing funds from the credit union, the district was able to put her and her daughter in a motel until she received that first check. With a lot of educational instruction switching to online, we partnered with 31 schools to deliver online personal finance curriculum to 3,800 students by underwriting the Bonsai educational platform. Now, looking ahead, what's up for the rest of 2021? Well, hopefully we'll be able to get rid of our masks. Masks are not something you would typically condone in a financial institution. Construction has been progressing on our new branch to serve the Northland community. The new branch will open on May 3rd in the Twin Creeks Center at Highway 169 and Berry Road. This freestanding branch will replace a storefront location, providing additional services such as a drive-through and safe deposit boxes. We'll be launching a new service that will allow you to make loan payments at the credit union from other financial institutions online and free. We recently relaunched our overdraft protection program. Increased limits are just one feature that will allow you more flexibility managing your funds. Coming within 30 days is an enhanced mobile and online banking platform offering many new features. Stay tuned for further announcements. Also coming in 2021 is a revamped, easier to navigate website. As you can see, we did not let a pandemic slow us down. We continue to look for ways to better serve your financial needs. I too would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the effort the employees put forth this past year. They were called upon to adapt as well. For one, since credit unions are considered essential businesses, the employees are considered essential workers. So they were here for you. With lobbies closed, they answered a record number of calls. They may have had to step into a position they had not done before when one of their fellow employees were in quarantine or ill. So they went above and beyond during a difficult time to make any disruption in service as painless as possible to you. And they did this while balancing the safety and needs of their own families. But I would also like to take the opportunity to thank you, the member owners of the credit union, for your patience. We know that at times it was not easy for you. Thank you again for putting your faith and trust in the credit union. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, John. That was very enlightening. And I'd like to also thank you for your many years of service to the Main Street Credit Union. You've done an outstanding job, as you can tell from the treasurer's reports and your report, how we've grown and developed as an institution over all these years. Thank you very much for your leadership in that regard. Now it's time for new business. I call on Gary Ulmer again as your chairman of your nominating committee, and he will give the nominating committee report. Gary?
My name is Gary Ulmer. I'm chairman of the nominating committee. I would like to thank the other nominating committee member, Bill Frick, for the help that he's provided throughout this entire process. There are 3 board of director positions up for re-election, 3 three-year terms, positions that are currently being held by Jerry Baird, Paula Hill, and Bill Roush. All 3 individuals experienced a desire to seek re-election. The nominating committee verified that the individuals met the qualifications of the position and agreed to abide by the conditions of the statement of consent to serve. Nominating procedures were published on our website and throughout the branches, along with the names of the individuals listed previously. No further nominations or petitions for nomination were received in the required timeline. Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that all 3 individuals, Gerald Baird, Paula Hill, and Bill Roush, be reelected to another 3-year term. I would like to introduce Bill Frick, who will finish up this election process.
Thank you, Gary. There's been a motion. Do I hear a second motion about re-electing?
A second.
Second motion. Thank you. Hearing no discussion, now it's time to vote. The Zoom attendees, please go to your chat button. All in favor, type yes, or no, nay, or oppose. For those in the room, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, nay. I'm being told that the ayes have it and the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I'd like to offer my congratulations to Paula and Bill. And I'm pleased to offer congratulations to me as well. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, please send us an email at events@mainstream. Or is that Main Street? She's been teasing me not to mispronounce that. At mainstreet.org. I now adjourn the meeting, and this concludes our 67th annual meeting. Thank you for attending. And we hope to see you in person next year. And I think that wraps it up.